wanted to do more of an intro of, why I wanted to do this podcast. A little bit about me. My name is Carrie Silverhorn, for those who don't know me. And I am the owner of Dreamkeeper Designs. And this is the Creative Guidance Podcast. And I want you to, take a little moment to let me know where you're listening from and down in the comments and sections. And there will be a Q&A at the end. So stick around for that. And if you're looking at the replay, then go ahead and put your comments in there and I will read those and get back with you. So a bit about me, I have been a graphic designer for 18 years, over 18 years actually. I was pregnant with my 18-year-old daughter, who's now 18, when I was in school. And I love creating. I love anything, art, design, web, you name it. And I love to help guide business owners in simplifying branding and web experiences and automation and just really honing in on what they're supposed to be doing. If their dream is to bake, then they need all of the processes and the technology and the guts of it taken care of for them so that they can really focus in on their passion. I love coming up with creative ideas. If you're stuck and you feel like you really just don't know where to turn, there's always, a fresh pair of eyes really helps a lot. And so I love doing that. And earlier this year, I really, because of all this, I kind of changed my business direction. And I used to operate Get Graphics, and it was an online print company. And, instead of just constantly spinning my wheels and coming up with one more business card or one more product or a different shirt design or whatever, I felt like I needed to come from a place of serving. And so I decided to rebrand and make Dreamkeeper Designs and come from more of a place of guidance and teaching and that sort of thing instead of selling. So serving instead of selling. Give me a wow face if you can hear me good. I'm still testing out this mic, so I don't know if it's working very well or not. So with kind of rebranding and kind of coming around, to this solution, which was for me personally, every other person's solution comes from some sort of pain point where they're stuck at. And, like I said, a fresh pair of eyes kind of comes into that, as far as, I've just spun my wheels and I just can't seem to figure this out. Well, my pain point kind of was like revolved around watching people do just that, spin their wheels, spend money, try to do it themselves, try to do it the cheapest way possible, get something that was templated as far as a business card or a brand that was very cookie cutter, that didn't promote them in any way, shape, or form. And it was just, it was kind of disheartening. And then they would be very frustrated with that, and then they would come to me and say, well, now you need to fix this. You need to help me. And so then I was like, ugh. Now I have to kind of undo everything that's been done. And so I thought to myself, there has to be a simpler way to teach people how to do this. And people are going to want to DIY. They're going to want to do it themselves. And I was trying to figure out kind of why that is. Why wouldn't they just go to a professional to have something done? Why must they try to figure it out themselves? If my house needs replumbing, why do I go down there with a wrench and think, oh, I've got this? I've watched a show on, Home and Garden television. I can do this. Why wouldn't I call a plumber? And so I realized, kind of almost an epiphany-wise, that the small business owner and the CEO have whys and hows. And the small business owner has a different why and a different how than the CEO. The CEO knows why they need a PR department. They know why they need social media marketing. They know why they need a website. They know why they have to have consistent branding. And they know how it's all done. And the small business owner does not have that knowledge yet. They really don't know why they need these things, and they really don't know how to operate them. They don't know how to get them. They don't know what's the best way. And so I thought, the only thing connecting these two is just knowledge. And knowledge equals confidence. So the more that they know and the more that they do, the more confident they become in their own practices. And then when they're, at that CEO level of, I don't need to do this myself, but I know how it's done. I know why it's done. And I have a little bit of security for that. So that was kind of the aha moment for me. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. So I really wanted to start teaching people this why and this how, and say this is the better way to do this. This is the best way to do this. This is the way that I know to do this, and I'm gonna guide you through it, and really give people that confidence and self-assurity, because sometimes it's not necessarily a design problem. Sometimes it's a time management problem, or it's where automation can fix this, or something of that nature, that we can come up with a better solution. So that's kind of what I do. If this kind of resonates with you, kind of give me a like button so I know that I'm speaking your language here. So the reason why I wanted to do this podcast is because I'm an avid podcast listener. I've listened to podcasts for almost a year, or over a year now, probably. And I started listening to them when I was like working out or walking or something of that nature. And it just was more, it was more fulfilling and more stimulating than just music. And so I'm real big on audiobooks, and I'm real big on podcasts. And so I thought, well, this is going to be a great way to connect with people. So it's kind of like a discovery call every time when I really sit down and talk to somebody and say, what's going on? What can I help you with? And I wanted to do this differently, though. I wanted to have these podcasts live on Facebook. And in January, when the podcast actually resumes, and it's the first podcast, there will be a live feed of another person. It will be like in the corner up there. And I will be speaking with them specifically on their business and what they're stuck with, and their obstacles, and then how we can find a creative solution for that. So, and then I will also have some great thought leaders that are in business for themselves, and have different avenues. Some of them may be spiritual, some of them may be dealing with marriage. And so I have a lot of great people lined up to really give some inspiration and some more advice and guidance that is not my forte. And so there will be a live broadcast on Tuesday, every Tuesday, and it'll either be in the morning or the evening, so that I'm convenient for those who want to be on the podcast. And then the replay will be on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and then eventually the audio will be uploaded to iTunes and my site. So there will be lots of ways for you to download this information, and then all of the links and whatnot will be in the show notes. So I invite you now, if you're a business owner, or you were thinking about being a business owner, or have an idea for one, or you're a thought leader, and you have a specific niche in your business where you do something, consulting, coaching, spiritual healing, marriage counseling, doesn't matter what it is. If you have something that's worked for you and some advice to give, then I definitely want to have you on the show. And like I said, I will put a link in the show notes on how you can schedule that and get on the show. So as far as the Q&A, this was just a really short intro. on kind of what the podcast was about and everything. So right now, if you have any questions, you can give those to me and I will answer them, and I will do that in every podcast at the end of the podcast. If you have just a little solution or a topic that you would like for me to hit on, go ahead and put that in the comment section, because I will find a corresponding thought leader or interviewee that I will talk to about that on that section as well. And then, also there's going to be lots of freebies, templates, tools, those type of things that will be in the show notes every podcast, as well as the thought leaders, their information, their bio, their links, and their tools that they use to help people. And so if you have any suggestions of maybe where you might be stuck at and you might want to hear something about that, just give that to me. And even if it's on a replay, like I said, I go back and I read those. So go ahead and submit those in the comment section, and I will come back to those. I want to thank you for being with me on this very short intro. I want to thank you for your patience on technical issues that I will be working out. This is why I wanted to do this early. The podcast actually starts January 2018, and it will be every Tuesday, like I said, either morning or evening, live here on Facebook, live on Instagram, and then replay will be on Facebook, YouTube, and then uploaded to my website. You can find me at www.dreamkeeperdesigns.com, or you can find me on Facebook at Carrie Silverhorn. And I just encourage you to share this and to really think about being on the show and voicing your obstacles, or maybe how you had an obstacle and overcame that, and give that advice to somebody else who might be struggling. So thank you so much for joining me. Much love and many blessings. Bye-bye.